Well, hey everyone, welcome back to Stuff We Can Do in Excel. I'm Richard, and what I want to talk about tonight is how we can bypass a forgotten password for a read-only passworded file. Now, there are four basic levels of passwords within Excel. First, you have the sheet protection level. Now, when you protect a worksheet, that is going to prevent anyone from changing anything on that worksheet. You can add other worksheets to the workbook, you can change anything on other worksheets, but as long as the worksheet is protected, you can't change anything on that worksheet. Then there's the level of workbook protection. Now, when you protect the workbook, what it does, it protects the structure of that workbook. You can still go in and change stuff on any of the pages, sheets that aren't protected, but you can't do anything like add new sheets to that workbook. The next level would be to read-only protect a spreadsheet. So when you read-only protect a spreadsheet, and I'm going to show you this in this video, a couple things. When you open the file, it asks for a password. If you don't give it, you can read the file. And the file that opens, you can read, you can change, you can alter, but you cannot save it back with the original file name. You have to save it with a new file name. So the old file, the original file, stays intact. If you use the password on a read-only Excel file, that allows you now to go in and change anything that's in that worksheet and actually to save it back with its original name. The final level of protection is the open file password. Now, that password is actually the highest level of password protection, and it's the only kind of password protection that you cannot bypass. So in a previous video, I showed you how to bypass the worksheet protection and the workbook protection. In this video, I'm going to show you how to bypass the read-only file protection. Now, it's interesting. When you go to type in to create the password, when you initially create the password, and you'll see this in the video, it gives you an option. You go on Tools, you go down to General Options, and you can put in a read-only password. And when you go in to confirm it, it'll bring up a warning. It says, this is not a secure password. It can be changed by people altering the underlying file. So it gives you the warning. You know, in 30 years of using Excel, I never noticed that until I started doing this video, and I went, oh my goodness, they actually warn you that the read-only password is not a secure password. So look for that when you do it. It's kind of interesting. It's one of those things that's always been there, you've always seen it, and you never noticed it. So now that you sort of know where we're going, let's get into the file and actually take a look at how first you save a file as a read-only file, and then how you can bypass the password if you should forget it. So I want to show you how to do two things in this video. First, I'm going to show you how to open a file and save it with a read-only password. Then I'm going to show you how to get into that file if you've forgotten the read-only password. So let's go open this file right here. It's readonly.xlsx, and I'm going to open that file, and you'll see it does not have a password on it. It does not ask me for one. So I'm going to save this with a read-only password. I'm going to save as. I'm going to choose a location. It's going to be on my desktop. I'm going to choose to save it right back where it is. And now I'm going to go over here to Tools, and you see it's right next to the Save button. I will click on Tools. I will go to General Options, and the only options it gives me is to create an open password or a modification password. And that's the one we want to choose. We're going to put a password in there. It's going to ask us to confirm that password. We'll hit OK. Then we have to hit Save, and we'll put it right back where it was. Now, if I try to open this file now, it's going to ask me for a password. So if I don't know what that password is, all I can do is read the file. Now, I can read it, I can change it, I can save it as something else, but I cannot save it back as this file name because I don't have the read-only password. If I type in the read-only password, I can now get into this, I can save it, and I can add my name, let's say. Now I can save it as, I can do PC, let's see, we're going to put it back in the same place. and I can click read only. And when I try to save this, it says it already exists. Do you want to save it? I'll say yes, and it's going to let me do it. If I didn't have that password, it wouldn't let me save it back with the same name. Okay, so I've got this password, this password protected file. I'm going to open it, and I can't remember the password. Here it comes. It's going to ask me a password, and I'm going to, oh no, I can't remember the password. What do I do? Well, it's really easy. We're going to get out of this. We're going to close the file. Now remember our rule. We are never going to edit an original data file. So I'm going to make a copy of this. I'm going to hit Control, click on it, and just drag it to the right, and it's going to create a copy. I'm going to drag my original file out of the way so I don't have any danger of messing with it. Now I've got this file. I'm going to change the name of this file. I'm going to change the extension on this file. If you cannot see the extension, I've got a link to a video below that will show you how to make Windows show those extensions. So we're going to right click. We're going to go to rename. And all we're going to do, we're going to click at the end, and we're going to back off the XLSX and put ZIP in there. We'll hit enter, and it's going to bring up a window that's going to give me a warning. Are you sure you want to change this? And I'm going to say yes. Now I've got a zip file. The next thing I'm going to do is I want to extract that zip file to see what kind of files are in it. So I'm going to right click on that. Now yours might look like a folder with a zipper in it. I'm using WinRAR here, but you might want to use just the regular zip file that comes with Windows. In that case, it'll look like a folder with a zipper on it. So I'm going to right click. I'm going to go down to Open With, and I'm going to say Open with Windows Explorer. And it's going to give me a window that looks like this. Now, what I'm really interested in is not this, but I'm going to open this Excel folder. And I'm interested in this workbook right here. So I can open up this workbook.xml file. I'm going to double click it. It's going to, actually, I guess I'm going to right click it, excuse me. Let's see, let me try double clicking it. Yeah, here it is. It's going to ask me, let me get this window over here. Well, it's not letting me move the window. It's going to, it opens up a window, and it's not letting me bring the window over. But it's asking me what I want to do, and I want to open it with Notepad. So I'm going to hit Notepad. I'm going to hit OK. It's going to open up this file for me. Now, there's a couple steps here. The first thing you want to make sure is make sure your wrapping is turned on, which it is. If it's not turned on, it's going to look like this. And there's a whole lot of stuff up over here to the right. We're going to be deleting some of this code, and you don't want to delete stuff that you shouldn't delete. So we're going to turn the word wrap back on. We're now going to go to Edit, and we're going to search for File Sharing. Hit Enter, and it's going to find it. There it is. It's over here in the far right. I'm going to start with this little bracket that's right in front of the F for File Sharing, and I'm going to drag my cursor until I find the next closed bracket. So there's not one here. I'm going down. So I'm not seeing one. I'm not seeing one. I'm not seeing one. Go down to the next line. Not seeing. Oh, there it is, right there. So that's where I'm going to delete to, right there. And I'm going to hit the delete button, just delete that piece of code. Now I'm going to save this file, and I'm just going to save it right where it is. It's just going to save it right back where it was, and we're going to go to. Well, it's not wanting to do that. So okay, we're going to save it on the desktop. And I can close this now. Now I got to go find the file. It's actually over on my other screen. I'm running two screens here. So I'll drag that over here. There's the file. What I'm going to do is I'm going to replace this file right here with this one right here. There's a couple ways I can do it. I can just right click and delete that one. And now just drag this one into that folder. So I can close this folder now. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to right click back on my zip file. I'm going to now change it back to an XLSX file. So I'm going to go change that extension again, this time to XLSX, and hit, whoops, too many, hit enter. It's going to ask me, are you sure? Here's the warning again. Are you sure you want to change it? The answer is yes. It's back to it. And now watch what happens when I try to open this file. It should now open it, and it will not ask me for a password. The reason it doesn't is because I've removed the password from the underlying code. It's as if there was never a password there to start with. So that's how you can bypass the password on a read-only file. Now remember, if it's a password required to open the file, you cannot bypass that without a third-party password-breaking piece of software. But if it's a read-only password, you can bypass that by using the technique and the steps I just showed you. Well, I hope you found that to be helpful. It gives you another skill set. Honestly, knowing how to bypass a worksheet password, a workbook password, or a read-only password can be a great party trick because most of the people out there don't know how to do it, aren't even aware that it can be done. So great something to show how smart you are, to maybe show up some of your friends that think they're great Excel folks and have them password protect a file or a workbook or a worksheet and show them how you can bypass that password really easily. We hope you liked the video. If you did, we'd love for you to subscribe to the channel. There's a subscribe button. Also, if you do subscribe, click that bell notification so that you can get information when we release new videos. In the meantime, we hope you have a great day. We'll see you real soon on Stuff We Can Do in Excel.